Welcome to Gazali. Today we have a very special guest. Actually, I would say today the Himalayas have come to enjoy the beautiful oceans of Goa. We have Bhikkhu Sanghasena ji from Ladakh who is visiting us today. I came to know about him because I read a biography of him which was written by Dr. Vandana Shukla, a friend of mine from Chandigarh. And I read the biography and I was fascinated by his life. Sanghasena started his life in a small village in Ladakh, moved to a little bigger place, got enrolled in Indian Army, and then while he was guarding the borders of India, holding a machine gun, some basic questions started haunting him. Obviously, he must have been a very intelligent man. He started thinking, what am I doing here holding this machine gun? Whom am I guarding from whom? Who is an enemy? Who is a friend? And so he started thinking deeply about this, and then he said goodbye to the army and became a monk. Today he has set up a 250 acres institution in Ladakh, which is called Mahabodhi International Center of Meditation. And he has schools for girls, he has schools for blind children, he has hospitals, and he has made a huge difference to the rather small population of Ladakh. Ladakh population is about 3 lakhs, but I think thousands of Ladakhis have been benefited by the compassion of Sanghasena ji. So Guruji, before we move further, I would like you to tell me a little bit about your childhood.
Thank you very much, Dr. Subodh. It's my great honor and privilege to visit this beautiful part of our country, Goa. And yes, well, I was born in a very humble traditional doctor family in one of the village called Timesgam in Ladakh, and grown up. And those days, 60s, 70s, there were no proper schools. And the first school was open in Leh city, the second school was open in my village. Myself was very much excited to go to school, and my parents wanted to send me to school. I went there, but somehow, unfortunately, to cut the story, that I didn't succeed in continuing my higher education. So I grew up with my father, helping my father.
But you were failed in the school.
Yes, I was failed in the what we call nursery itself.
Nursery school.
We call it the half class. In that itself, after 1 year, my teacher comes and tells, you fail and you have to continue 1 more year in the same half class or nursery, along with some these little children I saw in the corner of the school, no running children. That was the end of my school.
Guruji, I mean, you did only your nursery, and that too you were failed in the nursery.
Yes.
But in spite of that, today you have been visiting many universities of the world lecturing.
Right.
Now, tell us about this. You'd never had any formal education, but in spite of it, you have been a very successful teacher worldwide.
Yes. There is a famous saying, because where there is a will, there is a way. If one really wants to achieve what he or she wants, it can be achieved. You don't need any formal education. You know what most children, students spend 15, 20, even 25 years in the school, colleges and universities can be achieved in just 5-10 years. That's what I have experienced with myself. I never went to any school, colleges, universities. I studied myself, self-studies, and yes, now I could do what I want to do. I can achieve what I want to achieve without having any formal education. One need to make a determination, sankalpa. That is important. That is what happened in my life.
I would like to know, Guruji, what was your mental state when you were in the army? I just mentioned some part of it, but I would like to hear from you. What did you feel as a soldier?
Yeah, well, since childhood I was very curious. I really want to know everything of this world, this nature, and looking at this nature, I always used to get lost. Why so much differences? Why one sun? Why one moon? Why not many? And why some are very rich and some are poor? Some are very intelligent, some are so stupid. I wanted to know all these things, but I couldn't ask anyone, you know. And then I was always curious to know new things. And those days, the only new thing in Ladakh was the Indian Army. You
Okay.
know, beside army, there was nothing. Ladakh was totally another world before 70s, 60s. So I was very much attracted by the uniform of the army soldiers. I didn't know the meaning of army, the soldiers, why they are here, what is the purpose of their, purpose of the soldiers.
And
or
what
the
did
army.
you think when you saw the first jeep?
Yes, first, first when I saw the Indian Army or the jeeps, this was something amazing for us, something new to learn, new to know it. So I was looking always to learn something new. So I went into Indian Army just for the attraction of the new things in Army. That was a new thing in
And you
Ladakh.
thought a jeep was an iron horse.
Yes, that was, near my village, there's the highway from Kashmir to Leh. And one day I heard iron horse had come. I couldn't imagine. I run from my village to the main road, which about a few kilometers. And when I reached to the main road, already had gone, and I was so much disappointed, you know. And when I heard the iron horse, I imagined exactly like the horse, because we have not seen motorcycle or cycle, you know. And iron horse, and first time the aeroplane landed in Ladakh, there were many stories, you know. People thought these were big animals, even carrying grass and something, that kind of stories we hear. Anyway, yes, I went to army. I enjoyed every bit of the training in army. It's a wonderful thing I have learned in army is the discipline, a very good discipline. And I believe, for that purpose, every civilian should go and serve in Indian Army at least for a few years to learn the good discipline.
Okay.
And then later on, when I met another Buddhist monk, we sat together. I am as a soldier from army, he is a Buddhist monk from monasteries. And we share our, lifestyle, how I live in army, how he lives in the monasteries. And I was surprised. I used to consider myself a very strong, followers of Buddha. But I didn't know much. I used to carry the picture of Buddha in Dalai Lama and bow down few times in the morning, evening. And I consider myself a very religious person. Even my
Religious person holding a gun, a machine
yeah,
gun, and with bombs.
my colleague used to make fun. What are you doing here? This is you are not a monk. You are a soldier. This is not a monastery. This is a military camp. That's how they used to make fun when I, create the altars. And
So what
people
were your
decide-
thoughts now about war, about violence, about guns?
Yes, then when I sat together with my Buddhist monk, and when I heard the life style of a Buddhist monk, how get up early morning and go to the meditation hall and meditate and pray for world peace, for harmony, love and compassion, service. And then I reflected myself, oh, you consider yourself as an ardent follower of Buddha, how you live here, what you do in the morning. When you wake up in the morning, we do not do puja, meditation, we don't think about world peace. The first thing we, after opening my eyes, our mind goes to, where is my gun? He said, my gun is in a good shape. So whole thing, we have to take care of the gun, keep ready to fight. And we were trained in army how to shoot a gun, how to throw a bomb, how to use a knife. And then if enemy just appear in front of you, and you have no time to go and pick up your weapon, and then we were trained to make your face as ghostly as you can and produce sound as horrible as you can, and hold the hands, a leg, twist this way, kick this way, kill this way. It is so terrible. I cannot be called myself a follower of Buddha. Follower of Buddha cannot be like this. Where Buddha talks about love, universal compassion, not only for human beings, but animal, insect, whole world universe.
Okay, and that is the time you decided
Yes,
to
that's like
leave.
this. I felt that this is no, the life of a soldier is not for me. It's life of a monk is for me. I immediately decided to change my lifestyle.
And you were in army for about 4 years,
Four
and
and a
then
half
you
years,
4.5 years, and then you went to Bangalore.
That's right.
And how old were you that time?
When I left the Indian Army, 21. I joined the Indian Army at the age of 17.
Okay.
Yes,
And then in Bangalore, under the Guruji, you were Guruji. How many years did you study?
yeah, I was there more than 10 years, after studying under the guidance of my guru in Bangalore.
And then you decided to go back to Ladakh.
Yes, when I, decided to leave the army and to become a monk, I have no idea of going back. I wanted to study the teachings of the Buddha and then spend the rest of my life as a peaceful yogi life in the mountain or forest. But after studying the Buddha's teachings and after hearing or seeing what my Guruji was doing, it was full of compassion, care, concern for others. Then, my Guru also told me that your idea of spending the rest of your life in a peaceful yogic life in a mountain forest, not a bad idea, but it's a bit selfish. You are a young fellow, you owe something to your society. Then I started thinking about my people in Ladakh, and I saw exactly, Ladakh was slowly opening to the world, and Ladakh also have to move with the rest of the world. They have a good heart, they want to do something, but they don't know because they have no education, no exposure. I, having got some exposures, and I felt it is my responsibility to start some.
You have coined a very good term. You talk about compassion in action.
Right.
It is not enough just to have compassion, but the compassion has to be sort of displayed in the form of action by doing something to show your compassion. So your life is sort of can be described as compassion in action. Please talk about it to us.
Yes, exactly like compassion, karuna, maitri, or ahimsa. These are not new words for us. It's everybody knows in our country. But all these things, karuna, maitri, daya, and ahimsa, all this word will have no meaning until we put into action. So that's why I realized that all this, we have a treasure of wisdom, knowledge in India, but that must be put into action. That's why I added, compassion in action. Under this umbrella, we have initiated numerous programs, education, health, world peace, interreligious harmony, environmental protection, and so on. We have started, and the compassion in action has been in the center of the various activities we have initiated in Ladakh and beyond.
I would like to know about some of these activities, especially the activities you did to help the girls in Ladakh, the blind children in Ladakh. But before that, you have a very interesting phrase you have coined for the hungry. The religion is food, and so on. So I would like you to elaborate on that, because your practice of religion is not just a ritual, but is compassion in action.
Right, having born in a traditional Buddhist family, having trained in a traditional Buddhist monasteries, actually I also have started a meditation center, and then praying, performing rituals, and talking about high philosophy of the Buddha, yoga, meditation, nirvana, samsara. When I established a center in 1986 in a rented house in Leh, and I started teaching, soon I realized, that these high philosophical teachings of Buddha, yoga, meditation, samsara, nirvana, is not the priority to everybody. This is good for those who have roti, kabra, makan, those who are highly educated people. But what about the poor children in the remote villages? What about the sick people? What about the homeless elderly people, those people? For them, this high philosophy was not priority. I soon realized then, that the best religion or best dharma for hungry is a food. The best religion for the thirsty is water. The best religion for the sick is the medicine and the doctor and hospital. not the high philosophical teachings of Buddha, not nirvana and samsara and yoga. You know, all this yoga, meditation, high philosophy will come when you have the first basic material need, roti, kabra, makan. No, you don't have even the basic things, and you are talking about, high philosophy. Renounce this world. त्याग करो, renounce क्या करेगा? आपके पास कुछ है नहीं.
When I hear you speak this, I can't help but to remember Gandhi, because Gandhi's life is also, I mean, a life of a saint, which is basically dedicated to social work. And so your life is also dedicated to social work. You have been able to help the girl children in a big way. Can you just tell us your programs for the girls of Tibet?
Right. You know, there are so many problems, injustice and unfairs going on in the society, discrimination between girls and boys. So I realized that, poverty and illiteracy is the biggest enemy of these lovely children or human society. Poverty and illiteracy, the biggest enemy of mankind. And it must be fought and conquered at any cost with the weapon of the powerful weapon of education, virtuous education, guided by spiritual values. That's why, and I thought of starting, the hostel and school for girls first. Unfortunately, the, girls are left behind, neglected for some reason or this and that. They're always left behind. And I personally realize any kind of discrimination between girls and boys, totally unacceptable, totally unfair, unjust. So I first started a hostel for girls and a school for the girls, and selected lovely girls from the most remote villages, inaccessible villages, and sharing border with China and Pakistan. And I'm so happy to share with you today, all these girls have created history by being the graduate and postgraduate girls from those remote villages. Today, some are doctors, some are engineers, some are businessmen, some are working even in America, Chicago.
Please tell us about this girl you mentioned who is now heading Infosys in Chicago.
Right. One of the girls, her name is Pasang. She comes from the very remote villages called Nubra Valley, and she had lost her parents when she was very young, at the age of 4. And we brought her and took care of her and give the best possible education in our school and hostel in Ladakh. And after 10th standard, there were no proper facilities for high studies. I took them to Bangalore and rented a house and for them, and admitted in some of the reputed colleges in Bangalore. They did excellent. They did 10+2, BA, MA, even B.Ed later after MA. And later on, she started working in Infosys, and later
Today
on,
she heads Infosys.
she was very hardworking, smart, and she was promoted and sent to Chicago as to work in the company in Chicago. Again, she was promoted head of the department.
So you have helped so many, and have met some of them. And you did not stop just at helping girls get their education, but you are also a reformist. You realize that in the Buddhist scheme of things, there are only the monks who are sort of considered superior. They are allowed to preach, but the nuns in the monastery, the Buddhist monasteries, did not have the same powers. And so you tried to make a difference there. Please tell us about this, because I also realize that I think religious reforms are very important, not just in Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity or Islam, in all religions. And like Gandhi puts it very beautifully, sab dharma अच्छे है, लेकिन सब धर्म कच्चे भी है. इसलिए reforms are required, and you initiated reforms in Buddhism. So please talk about that.
Yeah, exactly. Very unfortunately, there has been again discrimination between monks and nuns. Though the Lord Buddha himself established Bhikkhu and Bhikkhuni Sangha at the time of Buddha himself, and given equal opportunity for the Bhikkhus and Bhikkhunis, or monks and nuns. But in course of time, unfortunately, in many Buddhist countries, the Bhikkhuni tradition slowly decline and disappear. And in some of the Buddhist countries, it's very sad to see, the nuns do not enjoy the equal support, equal respect like the monks.
Yeah.
And when first time when I visited some Buddhist countries like Taiwan, where I saw all the nuns are so well respected, well dressed, well educated, and just like the monks are, they are conducting all religious ceremonies. Then I started thinking about the condition of the nuns in Ladakh. It was so pathetic, so sad. So why these differences? You know, especially from the spiritual point of view, any kind of discrimination is just not acceptable. Because in spirituality, in religion, we talk about peace, harmony, love, compassion, enlightenment. Where you need to bring this difference, you are a woman, you are a man.
I think it's a very, very important step which you took. And I think many other religions need to learn from you. The feminist lobby in this country will be very grateful to you. Guruji, today we are going through a rather difficult time, not in just Ladakh, but the whole country. We have a lot of new problems which have come up. First, I would like to talk about the recent development where Ladakh, which was under Jammu and Kashmir, in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, is now ruled directly from the center. Now, what are the feelings of the Ladakhi population?
Yes, as you know, Ladakh has been part of the Jammu and Kashmir state, and Jammu and Kashmir always have problems, you know. So we Ladakhis were very much, you know, neglected and ignored. Even our people of our own country do not know much about Ladakh. They always talk about Jammu and Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir.
Yeah.
And people used to tell me, you know, it is so sad. Some people used to ask me whether we need visa to go to Ladakh.
Yeah, yeah.
So now, 2 years back, Ladakh was separated from Jammu and Kashmir and granted the Union Territory status, for which all the people of Ladakh are very happy. And after granting the UT, a lot of developmental activity started, and now Ladakh is known much better than before, and Ladakh is a top tourist destination now. The infrastructure in Ladakh is getting better. We have new airports and road condition, taxis, hotels are there, and we would like to welcome our friends from Goa to Ladakh.
Okay.
You know, Goa is the most lowest land near the seashore, hottest, you know, hot. Ladakh is the highest land and coldest land. We need to have a good exchange program. We have much to learn from Goa. You can also enjoy our serene mountains, Himalayan mountains.
Yes, absolutely. I would love to come there, but I think before we finish, let us talk about your latest passion, or your passion all your life has been religious harmony. And especially in the present days, there's a lot of polarization happening in this country amongst different religious groups. And I think a lot of problems in the world are created by religious conflicts. And so we need to talk to different religions. So what are your activities in this direction?
Yes, beside the various humanitarian spiritual projects I have initiated spread over the 250 acres of land in Ladakh, I also have been very actively involved in promoting inter-religious harmony, world peace. This is very important. I have been telling people that all modern developmental activities, whether economy, technology, fantastic technology, science, all this, will not all be useless, but it will be positively dangerous without peace and harmony, understanding in the center. Peace and harmony, you know, peaceful coexistence has to be in the center of all the developmental activities. Without peace and harmony, this science and technological development will be like Bhasmasura dance. It will kill ourselves.
I think a lot of Bhasmasurs are raising their heads in this country, and they need to be eliminated to organize, to ensure that we have good religious harmony and peace in this country and the world. Gandhi had a very important, very interesting quote on this. He says, all religions are like different compartments of one train going to one destination.
Absolutely.
And I think we have to understand that idea of Gandhi, of Buddha, of Vivekananda, and all the great religious teachers of the world, and strive for world peace.
Absolutely.
And,
I would say that different religions is like different flowers. You know that different flowers may have different colors and different shape, but all are flowers contributing beauty. So I always say more flowers, more beauty, less flower, less beauty, no flower, no beauty. So all religion should be treated like different flower. Different countries should be treated like different garden. We are not strangers to each other. We are not enemy to each other. We belong to the same one family, the human family. Whether you are American, European, Asian, Buddhist, Muslim, Christians, Hindus, we are born in a similar way, growing in a similar way. One day we all have to die. We are sharing the same planet. We are breathing the same air. We are drinking the same water. We are living under one sun, one moon, one sky. We have the same body and mind. Everybody have 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 mouth, 2 ears, 2 hands, 2 legs, and 1 small heart here. Inside the small heart also we have the same desire and wish to avoid all kinds of suffering and to enjoy peace and harmony. Where is the difference? So all religion teaches wonderful teachings, but unfortunately a lot of undesirable things are happening in the name of religion. That doesn't mean religion itself bad. People don't understand their own religion. They don't practice their own religion.
Absolutely, I can't agree with you more. Let us hope that people do go back to actually knowing about their own religion, the greatness of their own religion, and shed the fanatic ideas and ideas of hatred and anger.
Excellent.
Thank you very much for joining us, Guruji, and looking forward for more of your visits here.
Thank you so much, Dr. Subodh. It has been my great pleasure and honor to visit your beautiful state, Goa, and to your wonderful museum of Goa. Thank you so much. Next time I look forward to see you in my place in Ladakh. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.